Did Stefanski make a mistake in calling all this a QB competition? Explain yourself.
So when we, set out with 4 quarterbacks to begin training camp, Stefanski said it would be a competition. He didn't go into specifics about, would this be 2 guys battling for the starting spot, 2 guys battling for the backup or the third string. He never went into great detail about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he was pressed on it, but there are people out there that were under the impression that like Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel, but mostly Shedeur, had a chance to start week 1 against Cincinnati. And all the behavior of the reps in training camp, the way that they divided or allocated the reps in training camp, the personnel groups the quarterbacks were pairing up with, it would have led you to an obvious conclusion that Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel had no shot ever really to start week 1. This was not a fair quarterback competition. That really wasn't, by the behavior, by what people were seeing at camp every single day, by the beat reporters and what they were telling you, and by some of the leaks that came out eventually, which were, these guys are miles behind. Like, don't ever confuse this as an actual chance to win a starting job. And it seems to have angered fans that Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel never really had a shot to start week 1. And so that's why I asked the question today, Kenny, could we have avoided a lot of the nonsense? Could we have avoided? It's been great for radio because we've welcomed in all the Shedeur fans. We've got a lot of people from Boulder, Colorado. We had people from Dallas calling yesterday. I'm a big Shedeur fan.
Atlanta, the one guy who called in, he started listening only because of Shedeur.
Only because of Shedeur. We welcomed them and we were happy, but I hated to break the news.
They better not cut him now.
But I hated to break the news to them that there was never really a quarterback competition. They said, then why did your coach say it? So did they invite unnecessary debate over this?
You know what? I want to disagree with you because to have the debate, I think they did. I think they invited that because when you have Shedeur Sanders and this massive fan base, we've had other massive fan bases jump in. I've told the fans, like, you guys haven't experienced anything like this. Yes, we did. We experienced Johnny and we experienced Baker. This is my 3rd rodeo, not my 1st.
And by the way, we had some Odell. We brought in some fans from all over the country because of Odell.
That's another great point. This is our 4th rodeo. But those 3 other guys, Odell was expected to be wide receiver number 1, obviously. Those other guys had chances to start. I mean, it was a debate every single raging day about Johnny Manziel or Brian Hoyer. It was a debate about Tyrod Taylor and Baker Mayfield and whether or not Hugh Jackson was holding them back. There really should have been no debate on Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, or Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. It should have really been 2 separate ones. Now, I still think you would have found fever. I still think you would have found an argument. But when you have a fan base that's that big, and you say it's an open competition, and then you see that fan base say, he's got no first-team reps. I can speak until I'm blue in the face and go, guys, you don't understand. I'm hearing from the people in the building. Other guys who are connected are hearing from the people in the building. He might have been further behind than what you may think when it comes to the NFL offense that they would like to run. He's coming along. They're doing right by Shedeur. But you don't want to hear that because the head coach himself came out and said it was a 4-quarterback competition. If he would have said the competition to start is between Kenny and Joe, and then the competitions behind him were to be behind Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, I think it would have been a competition of who gets cut. Mm-hmm. Now, you could always just say, hey, we could always keep 4. I think that would have probably been your big fight of who gets cut between those guys. And then why would you have taken 2 rookie quarterbacks if you intend on cutting one of them, especially a guy with the fan base of Shedeur and a guy who I think has a great ceiling like Shedeur does. And Dylan Gabriel you took in the 3rd round, so then you're putting him behind. I don't know if there's anything they could have done to eliminate any sort of controversy. But I can't help but agree with you when you say it's a 4-quarterback race and then the guy who has the biggest fan base and the guy who really gives you the most hope for the future, can we all, unless you are a Shedeur Sanders hater, and we got a few who listen, but the guy who you would think, hey, he's young, he's got the higher ceiling, I think he has a higher ceiling than Dylan Gabriel, when you don't give him any first-team reps and you're saying that there's a thing, well, now I have to trust you. How many people trust the Browns? That's an uphill battle. So now I have to try to trust you, which that's going to be hard to do. And then I'm thinking, well, now you're not being fair to my favorite quarterback, is what his fan base is thinking. So, yeah, I have to agree with you. I think you're right. I think it would have been much simpler if he would have separated it and said, hey, we could keep all 4 quarterbacks. Absolutely. This is as open as it gets, but it's between Joe and Kenny to start the season. You could have done that.
Yeah.
I wish I could debate you on it, and maybe a couple of weeks ago I would have, but thinking as clearly as I can, you're right. You're right.
Obviously, the Shedeur has been a gift from the gods. I see the clicks every time we mention Shedeur, and we try to be fair. We're never accused of being fair, though. That's the thing. Anytime we talk about Shedeur, it's never the right amount for the people that are listening, where it's either too much or too little, or we're not giving them a chance or whatever. I think there is an element of the fan base, and especially Shedeur fan base, that wanted him to be treated like a certain rookie quarterback in Washington last year. Like, that guy hit the ground running. Why can't our guy hit the ground running and start immediately and have a chance to take the team to the playoffs? You know, they will never understand why he's not being treated like that.
And because of the open competition, remember what I was saying to you 3 weeks ago. Like, I don't believe he should be treated as just another fifth-round pick, but I don't believe he should have been treated like Jaden Daniels either. So where do you find the middle of it? If you would have separated it, I think it would have been easier to do. Boom shakalaka.
Damn it, that was
Urban
my next
Meyer.
one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, and I guess we're done now. 3-time national champion Urban Meyer on the fan hotline. That's with us less than 20 minutes ago, just last segment. Like Shedeur Sanders, that definitely, you ain't cutting that guy. I know there are people, they are haters, man. They get into our mentions. We don't have a lot of callers that do it. But there are a lot of people who send us emails and tweets and, hey, you guys prop these guys up and they suck. And what did he do? Colorado this, Colorado that. Colorado sucks. They're only 9-4. Only 9-4. When you talk to a lot of football guys, like it is such a difference. Like, I used to go back and forth about other coaches about this. Like, when you are taking over a program that's 1-11 and the worst in P4, which at the time was P5, when you are the worst program in major college football, to get them at 9-4 in 2 years obviously takes some people who are good assistant coaches and a head coach that can get people going. But also, you got good players, and you have to have some leadership there with your players. And I thought last year could have been a crossroads for them. I really did. You had Travis Hunter as a Heisman Trophy candidate, and I thought that, it could have been touch and go. They had a lot of things going on, and they were able to have a nice season over there. And what Urban Meyer says is right, and I think that hopefully it'll translate over a little bit to the NFL. Now, he's going to end up being 4th on the Browns depth chart, but what he says about Shedeur Sanders, hey, man, you can sit here and call me every name in the book, and we were called things about liking Shedeur I can't even say on the radio, but that's a former head coach, a guy who's covered him, a guy who was he at the TCU game a couple years ago? That was a 4-win season.
I love the setup to everything you just said. I love the conclusion of everything you just said, but people are only going to latch on to something you said in the middle.
What?
I know he's going to be 4th on the depth chart. 4th?
It ain't my depth chart.
4th?
It's not my depth chart.
I know, but that is going to continue to boggle the minds
of
a lot of people.
It's not my depth chart.
Like, it's one thing to say, hey, not ready to start the season. They can't all be Jaden Daniels, right? But that's very different from 4th on the Cleveland Browns.
But that is, I understand what you're saying, but they're in a different mode. See, this is why this season is so messed up. You have to try to win games. You are up against, they're not on the hot seat. All right, well, if you're going to go from Joe Flacco to Kenny Pickett, you tell me who's not on a hot seat. Because you don't trust either the 3rd round or the 5th round guy. Because, hey, are you and I on a hot seat? Are the fans on a hot seat? What would they do? How many fans after Joe Flacco would say, even the people who don't like Shedeur, put Shedeur in? Or even the fans that don't like Shedeur, how about Dylan Gabriel? One of the two, flip a coin. Okay, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go Romeo Crennel with you. But we're all looking at rookies. Who can be the future? Save us from the future. Save us from this mess that the organization has dug for themselves. And so when I hear Urban Meyer, I get excited about that. He will be 4th on the depth chart. Because unless they're able to stash Kenny Pickett on the IR because he was limited again yesterday and he's not going to play on Saturday. So that could give them every excuse in the world going, hey, he's okay to practice. He ain't ready to play. So you could go ahead and put Kenny on the IR and then have Dylan Gabriel as the backup if you want to, or put Shedeur Sanders as the 3rd teamer if you want to, or if you really want to get crazy about it, which I think conspiracy theories would go nuts, All right, the oblique strain, he practiced, but he was limited. We don't know if he's going to play. Maybe he doesn't play. Maybe they stash Shedeur on the short-term IR. Kenny on the short-term IR as well. That's what I meant by the IR. You stash him on the short-term IR. All right, well, if you do something like that, you're going to have a lot of hell to pay for it on the internet, but I don't think a lot of people are going to care inside the building. So you tell me what the goal of the season is. Nobody's on the hot seat, but you're definitely going with the 40-year-old for a reason, because even if you weren't on the hot seat, you want to do right by your vets, and the other guys ain't ready. But if you just go from him to Kenny Pickett, okay. Because I ain't going anywhere. I need to get figured out what we're going to do in 2026 as well.
Yeah,
and I would love for Shedeur, who I think has a high ceiling, to be able to give me enough of a reason and enough time to give me enough of a reason to go, hey, maybe I don't like any of these guys. Or maybe, you know what? I know Shedeur has a massive fan base, and I'm asking for a lot of hell over this next spring. Maybe you keep him as the backup.
Well, I don't know what's a crazier notion. The fact that Shedeur, fans having to hear him as fourth on this of all teams' depth charts at quarterback, or my other thought, which I keep coming back to, which is, I would not be shocked at all if Kenny Pickett is the starting quarterback of the Browns by like week 3 or 4.
Just because it said week 1?
What do you mean? No, I'm not just that. Just that everything I continue to hear is that they love Kenny Pickett, and the fact that he hasn't earned anything, and he's still right there, and he's the guy that they went out and got first. They secured Kenny Pickett. They traded a pick and a player for, and that you heard rave reviews from the staff. The fact that you said when they were drafting players, it was Kenny Pickett calling them, congratulating them for being a Cleveland Brown. Like, I still think he is the guy that they had plans of all along being the starting quarterback of this.
So what'd you ask me about Quinshon Judkins before the break?
So I asked first, Mary Kay, why Isaiah Bond is here, but Judkins isn't. So we saw Isaiah Bond already at practice, had no problem at least issuing a statement. What about Judkins at this stage? Why do you think he has not been able to iron something out with the Browns?
The only thing that I know right now is that they just don't have the contract done yet. We know he's not signed. The last time I talked to the NFL, they said they were still reviewing the matter. Then I talked to someone else who said they were hearing. They did not think that Quinshon would be disciplined by the NFL, but I don't know if that's true or not. If he's going to be suspended for a number of games, maybe that impacts the contract. But I'm sure there are back channel discussions going on to make sure that it all works out for everyone.
Well, I think it's time for a training camp report.
Training camp coverage powered by Classic Ford and Classic Chevy and Minter.
I'd have a training camp report about a guy who ain't never been there, but we're going to do it anyway. Quinshon,
why ain't he been at training camp?
Is it as simple as he wants guaranteed money and they ain't going to give it to him? It might just be a total negotiation tactic. Now, I'd like to get the player into camp. Well, camp's over. I'd like to get the player into the process, into the system. If you're still
doing training camp reports, camp's not over.
Yeah, technically camp's
I guess
still
my
going
question
on. You're
is,
right.
how much money are we haggling over here, if that's the case? I would love to know, because I think as Browns fans, we would just like to get him into camp, or whatever you're calling it, practice. You'd like to get him in.
Tree fitting.
Like, if it turns out we're haggling over $1.5 million, it's like, come on, all you guys have ever said is Haslam's have the money. Don't let that be an impediment. Well, I want this guy in as soon as possible. Give him his money. Who cares?
But do they want to give him guaranteed money when he might be...
Fine. Who cares?
Do they want to give him guaranteed money when he might...
Owen, do you care about the money?
I do not care about
it. Third time's a charm. 3,
we agree.
2, 1.
Ken,
do
come
they
on our
want to
side.
give him guaranteed money if he is going to be suspended for a prolonged amount of time?
Do you have to pay him when he's suspended?
I don't know those rules.
Guess what? I don't care. Give him the money.
I mean, if they're going to stand by him once he comes here and they're going to say he's a Cleveland Brown, he represents the Cleveland Browns. We have no issues with his past. His legal matters are behind him. Let's go. Let's pay him like a Cleveland Brown then. What are we doing?
$1.5 million?
Yeah, what are we haggling over?
Cool.
What's the contract?
Our owner is more liquid than any of the other owners in the NFL, basically.
What doesn't mean they're just handing out money.
Yeah, but in this case,
it's a business.
If all I ever hear from everybody is the Browns are geniuses circumventing the cap, they manipulate the cap, we have an owner that's willing to spend, that's the difference between us and the Bengals.
I say some of those things. I don't say all of them.
Then what are we haggling over this, especially if he's an innocent man? Right? Like, let's go. Let's stand by our guy.
Well, I'm not even concerned with the innocence or the guilt right now. It doesn't matter because he's going to be a Cleveland Brown or seen as a Cleveland Brown unless they don't sign him at all, and then he ends up somewhere else.
Well, that
next
can't
year,
happen.
right?
That would be a disaster.
He'll always be under the branding of Cleveland Browns. So let's just get him in here and let's get it over with. Let's get all of the negative publicity of him being a part of the team in and get it going. Let's not worry about that week 3 of the season. Let's just get it going.
Just we all agree earlier is the better here.
Yeah.
Bless it. Hold on. Let me.
Need more time to clicky-clack?
No, I got to check the contract of the guy who was signed around him.
Okay.
Fully guaranteed 4-year, $11.6 million deal for Nick Emanuari of the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
That's a different player. I think he plays a different position. He's a safety. Just pointing it out.
Yeah.
All right. So, in the grand scheme of things, 4 years at $11.6 million or 4 years at $11 million, is that really breaking them? Okay, fine. Whatever. Hell with it.
Welcome to our side, Ken.
I just didn't know at first, okay? I have to ask questions, don't I? Don't I have to ask the question? So what's the holdup?
Is it incentives? Is it whether or not it has to be guaranteed?
Because it can't be about the mark that he leaves on the organization by bringing him in, because that's already done.
That's done. And you brought Isaiah Bond in,
right? And he spoke yesterday.
So what are we grinding our gears for here? What are we wringing our hands here for then? All right, that's a training camp report.
Training camp coverage powered by Genesee Brewing Company and Window Nation.
Didn't accomplish a damn thing there. Troy in Zanesville, hello.
Hey, I just wanted to chime in on this Judkins thing.
You do it, brother.
I think the only reason why he's not signed is because there was bruising on that girl, visible evidence that I think the prosecutor just muffed up the prosecution on it, and I think the NFL. I don't think Judkins going to play this year, man.
You're saying they could suspend him for the entire year? Because now we're going in circles.
I don't think
Troy,
so.
because I asked the same question. I go, How long is he going to be suspended? I mean, good God! At first, we thought could it be 11 games like Deshaun Watson? Could it be 6 games? I don't know how long he's going to be suspended.
Had 10 games, right?
Yeah,
but they didn't sign him until afterwards.
I think the Browns are just kind of doing their due diligence and just kind of waiting to see what the NFL says.
Troy, I agree with you. I think they're just waiting to see what the NFL says, and once the NFL says something, then they're going to go ahead and negotiate a contract.
But do you think they're not going to sign him if the NFL says, well, it's going to be a full season? Is there a point where the NFL gives a number of games that the Browns don't sign him?
Say it again.
Is there a number of games that the NFL could give Quinshon Judkins in suspension that the Browns say that's too much for us? We're not going to sign him? No, I think
the Browns will sign him.
Then just sign him.
Now, I want to be as accurate as possible because the caller said there were images of bruising. That is what the police included.
We have not seen such images
in their police report. They said there were images with bruising on the face and on the arm and on I believe the thigh. Mm-hmm. Photographs displaying bruising is what the woman showed police officers. The prosecutors, when they decided not to pursue the case further, they said the incident was not captured on video surveillance. There are no independent witnesses, so nobody saw it. The victim had photos showing injuries sustained. There were also videos that same time frame with no injuries observed to the victim. Now, I know some people said, well, yeah, if you're wearing makeup and you're videoed in public, are you going to cover the bruises, whatever. The reality is, in the end, it's a he said, she said. Like so many of these cases, and when there's no video, it's tough. It's tough for any case to go forward. And we also know so many times victims, they will cooperate at the beginning of an investigation, but will they actually sit up there on trial and answer questions? Many will not. So then the prosecutors, there's only so far they can go with it.
Yes. You guys are all upset about the depth chart. I mean, I feel I got to tell you guys something. Ain't gonna mean nothing because I have to be unrealistic but realistic. Let me tell you this: Shedeur Sanders. We had Urban Meyer on earlier this morning. This is what Urban Meyer said. The 3-time national champion. This is what he had to say about one Shedeur Sanders.
I loved watching him. We covered at Big Noon. We covered him for Deion's, I think, first 3 games, and he turned around a program that was a train wreck. And you don't do that without Shedeur Sanders. I saw a player that can get out of trouble, lead a team, has really all the skill set to be successful. And so I think there's a lot of substance there. You know, as a backup quarterback, they don't want all the media attention on that one player. You know, all coaches want team, no distraction. If you're asking the question, can he do it? I don't think there's any doubt he can do it. You know, it all depends on what's around him. But if you're talking about a skill set, great leadership, a quality person that I really enjoyed watching, I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan.
Mark Schlereth, you've heard that name before. Didn't have great things to say about Jerry Jeudy in the past, but had amazing things yesterday on Afternoon Drive to say about a one Shedeur Sanders and a comparison he made. Stink says,
all the things you hear about Shedeur, like, well, he lacks supreme athletic ability and he lacks arm talent, and, you know, and all the things that scouts put their finger on that don't really matter. All the stuff that we evaluate has nothing to do with whether you can play or not. He's deadly accurate. He's got great touch. And when you watch him in that first preseason game, the thing that I loved, and I mean loved, is his ability to slide and his movement skills in the pocket and still being able to create space, not eyeballing the rush, but feeling the rush and developing and throwing it downfield. And he threw a touchdown that way. I used to say it all the time, and I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but I used to say about Tom Brady all the time, was Tom Brady's the best scrambler in football, and he never leaves the pocket. And that's what I want out of my quarterback. And those things, accuracy and his ability to slide and have feel in the pocket, pocket presence, those things are exceptional with Shedeur Sanders.
Man, I know all you guys are having fights and blocking each other on social media over Shedeur Sanders and over this damn depth chart. I'm going to tell you right now, this depth chart don't mean a damn thing. It don't mean anything. It means as less as anything has mattered to the Cleveland Browns. And print it, record it. I gotta stand by it. I gotta stand by it by the end of the year. And if I'm wrong, I don't think I'm gonna be. If I'm wrong, I'll eat it on that one too. Because I'm telling you right now, there ain't no way a guy where people are lining up, coaches, football guys, lining up to say good things about this fella, they're just gonna let him rot fourth on the depth chart on this football team. He ain't getting cut. And he's going to play this year. I don't know when, but he's going to play. You cannot tell me going into next year that we're going to go and get ready for another season and another possible quarterback without giving this guy with this ceiling a chance. I can't say the same for Dillon Gabriel. I'm not trying to be, Shedeur this, Shedeur that. Boys, I'm just telling you exactly how it is. Part of it's entertainment, part of it's business. That ain't a shot at Dillon Gabriel. Don't take it that way. I'm just telling you, and you guys know exactly how this is. You're going to see Shedeur Sanders on that field this year. It's going to happen. There is no way that, and I'm not even talking about ownership. I'm not talking about selling jerseys or anything like that. I could, but I won't. You're telling me a guy with that type of ceiling ain't going to play on the field this year if the Browns are bad. If Joe Flacco's good and the Browns are good, no, he won't see the field. That's true. But if the season goes the way we think it's going to go, which guys are fighting each other over 6 wins, what a standard we're setting this season. If it's going to go that way and be about a 6-win season out of 17 games, that young man's playing for this football team, and we're going to get ourselves an eyeful. It's just a question of how much before I can go, we're moving on, that's it. Because you've asked about Shedeur's future, and I'm thinking, man, we have spent a lot of time fighting. And it depends on what day anybody listens. One day, the Shedeur fans who pop in hate us. The other day, they love us. The next day, they'll hate us again. The other day, they might be ambivalent because we're talking about the Guardians. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If we're getting ready for next year, he could end up being the backup quarterback for this football team if he's able to process the offense, if he's able to do those things and be that big of a player. Or, damn it, they might find a situation where he starts the season and we can find ourselves doing this all over again for the entire month of August next year about Cade Klubnik or Lenoris Sellers or X, Y, and Z.
And those guys will be first-round
Sanders. And those guys are going to be first-round picks.
And whoever ends up taking them, if it's this regime or the next, I mean, that's what the organization is going to be about. So even if he ends up getting in next year or were to start the season next year, he's on borrowed time. And so that's why when I
have to see it.
Yeah, when I ask the questions about Shedeur's future, it is why I'm paying attention to the Kenny Pickett situation. Because if Kenny Pickett is still here and all of this is just biding time for Kenny Pickett to be the starting quarterback, which, again, roll your eyes if you want. There seems to be some smoke there that these guys want Kenny Pickett to be the starter. So that just delays this thought, maybe the inevitable of what Kenny says, but it just delays Shedeur getting out there. And then what is the time frame for Shedeur? If he's going to have a long career in the NFL, it involves him having to play football this year, right?
I would think. Because I don't know if he's going to be able to play on Saturday. I want to find out more this afternoon. You'll be able to hear all the press conference stuff. 92.3 The Fan, your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football. I'd like to think he's going to be able to play on Saturday, but he was limited yesterday, so we'll find out how that one goes. Kenny Pickett ain't going to play on Saturday, so you might have a Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders, maybe even Tyler Huntley situation. If it just is Flacco, Gabriel, Tyler Huntley, I'll watch Flacco and Gabriel. I'll watch Tyler Huntley because it's the Browns, but I'm obviously not going to be thinking much of it. But I can't believe, and I know that some people go, man, you guys are wasting everybody's time with this fourth guy on the depth chart, and he's a fifth-round pick. And I'm like, he's not any of those things. He's not any of those things. No. The question that you had asked about Urban Meyer, I mean, comparing him to Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was a wildly overdrafted player in the first round who also had a very, very, very strong following. And he obviously got opportunities to play that right now Shedeur Sanders isn't. But if the season goes the way it's going to go, there ain't no doubt about it in my mind. Come hell or high water, you're going to see him play in a meaningful football game in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. And it's on Kevin to be able to put an offense together that's going to be able to help him out, and we're going to see what we have there. And then we might go with a full-throated endorsement of Shedeur Sanders, which is probably not likely. Probably not likely. I would say the chances of Shedeur Sanders going into 2026 as the starting quarterback to be maybe somewhere, if I'm being generous, 20% at the end of the year, and then you would go to a rookie QB. To be generous. You're probably taking a QB next year. The whole thing for Shedeur is, can he be the backup on this football team if you were to take a rookie then? I mean, that's the most likely outcome. I'd like Shedeur to change that. It's going to be up to them. But, man, the more we sit here and grind our gears over it, I go, guys, what are we talking about? The guy's a star. I don't know what to do with Dylan Gabriel. I know he plays fine enough football. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a clean sheet like one of our guys did here. Oh, which, by the way, I accidentally called Jimmy Horn Jr. Joe Horn Jr. I'm sorry. They played in the same color scheme, one in pros, one in college. I accidentally messed it up. I'm sorry. There's parts of my brain that alcohol even can't reach. So it tended to happen that way. Good God. I beat up like crazy about that a couple of afternoons ago. Either way, there's no doubt about it that you're going to see him. It's just how much am I going to see him where I can make a proper judgment? That's the biggest question, I think, to a Browns fan right now.